Welcome to Blade Talk Tuesday. This is Jude. Thanks so much for joining me today. It's a cold one. It's snowing right now, real fine flakes, and I'm testing out a new microphone. I have a lapel clipped to my jacket. Now, normally I have a microphone on top of the camera, but it picks up a lot of like car sounds and stuff like that. So I'm gonna see just how nice the sound is running this lapel directly into the camera. So I used to hate using lapels because it meant wearing like a big digital recorder or putting it on my cell phone and having to transfer files, and it was just kind of overboard. So the fact that I can plug this directly into the camera makes it super nice, super convenient. Anyway, I'm a little tired. It is Tuesday currently, and this video is coming out later this afternoon, so yeah, little last minute busy, but the show must go on. I must get a video out. That's the commitment I've made. I want to try to make a Blade Talk Tuesday every Tuesday for the entire year and just see what happens. So come rain, come shine, come having to sit in my back porch or being able to go out in the woods, I'm going to be here every Tuesday talking to you, hopefully 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Mountain Standard Time, whatever that is in your area. I'm not sure. So without further ado, let's jump into it. In this episode, we're going to be talking about what I believe is the perfect tool system for the outdoors. And this can be specifically for bushcraft, camping, or even perhaps survival training. And my experience has been through regular use, backpacking trips, camping trips, going out there and testing tools and knives for YouTube, and also survival training in Colorado in the Rockies a couple years back. So I'm not just some guy who sits on the porch and just talks. I go do. I also go do. So let's start the timer. Try to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. That way you get the whole idea without too much fluff. So I've been doing a lot of backpacking camping theory training, thought, research. And what I found is, according to many sources, you want to carry about 20% of your body weight when you're backpacking. And I think that should extend to bushcraft too. You can go a little tool heavy with bushcraft because you're planning on making a lot of things, but about 20% is the safe range of weight when you're talking about outdoor activities. That doesn't leave a lot of room for tons of heavy tools, and I used to carry way too much. So by slimming things down, by lightening things, I can carry more comfortably the tools that I want to carry. And I'm talking about the 4 main types of tools, starting with the choppers. Now, this can be anything. This is just my example. You can carry something larger. You can carry a machete, a large knife. Just know that this tool is meant for chopping, and each of these tools is supposed to cover one type of tool performance. I don't know exactly what to call it. Each one has to cover the primary function of every type of tool. So, chopping. This is a good example because a car just drove by, so we're going to see just how nicely this microphone picks up my voice when a car is driving by. Big truck, actually. So, we got a chopper. This is to perform specific tasks. This is not a carver, this is not a sawer, a truncator, whatever you want to call it. This is for chopping. And in this case, this is a Granfus Brooks outdoor axe. Super lightweight, great for backpacking because it's very small. You know, it's only about 15 inches long, and it's very light. It only weighs about a pound. So perfect for backpacking. We've got a chopper. You can carry something heavier, but that comes at a cost, because if you carry something heavier, it means everything else has to lighten up a bit. Got my tool bag. Still working on the prototypes, in case you're curious about that. We've got a saw. This is a folding saw. This is a Baco Laplander. This is a saw I've been using for a number of years. It's starting to dull a little bit, but not as bad as my Silky Gomboy, which I used on bone tools, and boy is it dull now. I gotta probably replace that one. So something to saw wood is your next task. This is super simple. The concept here is that each of these tools is to help you either build a shelter, create utensils, bowls, cups, or perform specific camping tasks. So fire prep, carving, anything that you would need a saw for. This is going to be way more efficient than this. This creates a lot of waste if you have to cut directly, truncate a piece of wood, which means cut, you know, through the diameter, through the diameter of the wood, laterally. This creates a lot of waste. This creates way less waste, so that's super efficient, and it's less dangerous than chopping with this. But having both of those allows you to do a lot of fire prep stuff, which also allows you to carry a smaller fixed blade. I prefer fixed blades for the outdoors. I think they are more sturdy, more functional, they work better. This is a small knife. This knife is, let's see if I can get this out with gloves on. This is a small knife. This is only about 3.5 inches blade length, and it's a fine working tool. It's thin, it's got like a saber vex type grind. Not a chopper, not a truncator. This is specifically for slicing. So first task is chopping, then it's sawing, now it's slicing. Again, this could be anything. If I carried a light axe like I am, it allows me to carry a bigger knife if I want to. So, you know, something like the Blackbird from William Collins. Because I've saved weight on the other tools, it allows me to carry something larger. And then the fourth tool is something to carve with. This tool right here, again, it could also be a folding knife. It's kind of a backup. I have a carving jack from FlexCut. It's got a whole bunch of different types of blades to it. Hooks and gouges and V notches. Very sharp carbon steel blades. Perfect for doing things that are very difficult for a straight-edged knife to perform. Something like this is going to be able to make you a spoon a lot easier than something like this or a bowl. And it also acts as a backup to your main primary knife. And the reason you have to think about all this is because you still have to carry stuff to maintain your blades, which can get heavy. I have this little pouch that I got at an airport when they lost all my luggage, you know, their essentials kit. But in it, I keep the Nagura stone, a Faltniven CC4, you know, the ceramic, and the kind of medium grit. I carry a little thing of frog lube in contact case, and I've got a little toothbrush that I don't use for my teeth, but I use to buff out the blades if I wind up getting any kind of rust spots on them. You can create a slurry with this and buff out the blade so that it stays nice and sharp. And when you add everything up, it all goes towards that 20% limit that I've placed on myself as an outdoorsman. I don't want to damage my knees or back or shoulders or anything by carrying too much weight. I want to be comfortable when I'm out there. And I still have to consider food, water, shelter, all of those other essentials, extra layers if it's wintertime. That's kind of my thought behind this perfect tool system. You've got your 4 bases covered. You've got chopping, sawing, slicing, and carving. That's flexible. And there's lots of possibilities, but in essence, you've got those 4 bases covered. There's a ratio where if you carry a heavier chopper, you should carry a heavier slicer. If you carry a lighter chopper, you can carry a heavier slicer. Kind of got the idea here. I don't know if I'm going tool heavy, if there's people who are like, man, you only need 2, just bring an axe and a knife and everything else you can do just by hand, or you know, I'm sure there are people, minimalists like that, but for me, my needs, my area, my skill set, having those 4 bases covered with those 4 types of tools is, in my opinion, ideal. I'm not gonna say perfect, because there is no perfect tool, but ideal. Okay, we went way over, but this brings it out to discussion. I wanna know what you carry in the woods, what you enjoy using, what your system is in your area, because every area is slightly different. My area, I have alpine forests, I have high desert, I have flatlands, I have hills. There's a lot here that I have to consider when I'm carrying and backpacking in the woods. So that's all I got for you. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.